I'm going to start this video by saying I do not play VGC. Competitive singles is the format that I choose to play, which makes this next Pokemon Draft League so exciting, because for the first time in a long time, I get to enter something as the underdog. But what's a Pokemon Draft League? It's a format where players called coaches draft teams of unique Pokemon and battle each other weekly until one coach is crowned the champion. Normally, Pokemon Draft is a best of one singles game, with the occasional rematch in playoffs. But because this season of my Pokemon Draft League SPL, or the Sucker Premier League, is VGC, it'll be a best of 3 battle every week. So let me explain the format. We decided to go with Regulation F rules for VGC. That means no restricted Pokemon like Koraidon and Kyogre. But we wanted to include some Pokemon that a lot of VGC players don't typically get to use. So we decided to allow mythical Pokemon, with the obvious broken exceptions like Arceus and Magearna being banned. The only other difference to VGC we had is that we dropped Species Clause, which means that if you wanted to use Galarian Slowking and regular Slowking on the same team, you could as long as you drafted both. Players were given 110 points to draft between 9 to 10 Pokemon on a predetermined draft board. I also want to add that this season will be our biggest one yet, with 20 coaches, which includes 6 returning coaches from previous seasons of SPL, 14 brand new coaches, 10 of which main VGC. My placement was 11th overall in the entire draft, meaning I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted. The Pokemon I was debating between were Rillaboom, Iron Hands, Annihilate, and Goldengo. I was high-key hoping that most of them would be taken before it's my turn, because I really couldn't decide which Pokemon I wanted to use. But somehow all of them fell to me. In the end, I ended up picking the Pokemon that had a special place in my heart, as it won me my first Pokemon Draft League in Scarlet and Violet, and I wanted to see how it'd do in VGC. So I picked Annihilate. Obviously, I know how broken Rage Fist is in singles, but I know that Annihilate also gets a lot of moves that are specifically for VGC, like coaching, allowing it to be a great support Pokemon and not just a sweeper itself. And of course, its insane HP stat plus Final Gambit means it could help other members on my team by getting rid of one from my opponents. Also, the idea of just healing Annihilate with something like Heal Pulse or Pollen Puff, or using Follow Me to let Annihilate set up, just looked really fun for me, and I was like, I gotta do this. For round 2, I was aiming for Maushold because it just made sense next to Annihilate. It's a tried and true combo, and Friendguard makes it take less, and you can use Beat Up to boost its Rage Fist. Unfortunately, Maushold was sniped, so I pivoted and decided to focus on a different route for this round. My next pick was Diancie, a Pokemon that I've used several times in Pokemon Draft Leagues, and a Pokemon that I've had a ton of success with when I played Doubles OU for the official Doubles Tour. Diancie is a fantastic Trick Room Pokemon, because the signature move Diamond Storm can hit both Pokemon and can raise your defense both times, making it incredibly hard to take down. It also has fantastic support moves in Helping Hand and Encore, and is a good teammate with Annihilate, since Annihilate can Final Gambit one Pokemon while Diancie sets up Trick Room, allowing you to get in your sweeper on the next turn. For my third pick, I was looking around for some fun, strong options left. I saw things like Shaman Sky for Tailwind, but I saw another Pokemon available that reminded me of Regieleki in my previous draft leagues that would just always set up screens and support the team. My third pick was Deoxys Speed, which kind of looks out of place next to Annihilate and Diancie, but hear me out. Deoxys provides dual screen support, also has Icy Wind to slow down my opponent, can Thunder Wave and Taunt, but most importantly, can cheat with EVs. By this I mean it's so fast, it can afford to go things like max HP every week, making it bulkier and harder to take down than a standard Deoxys Speed. And of course, offensively, it still has great coverage too. For my fourth pick, I pivoted back to a more traditional Pokemon for my squad. It was a Pokemon that made a lot of sense considering I was building semi-Trick Room. Bronzong provided me with the ground immunity due to Levitate, but can also throw off Blind Hypnosis like VGC players tend to do. But if I want to raise the accuracy of those, of course my Deoxys Speed does have gravity. The main reason I got Bronzong is because I planned on picking up a powerful Earthquaker later on in the draft. So having a Pokemon that would be immune to that spread move just made the most sense. Also, it's cool to note that I used Bronzong in the past in the WBE Singles Draft League, so I'm excited to try it out again in doubles. For round 5, I really wanted Weavile. It gave me a Ghost Resist, Fake Out, and a Beat Up Mon for my Annihilate. But as you can expect in a draft with 20 people, I was sniped. Because I could no longer get Weavile, this actually opened up some extra points in my draft. And I saw a pretty expensive Pokemon available that not only won me my first ever Pokemon Draft League, but was also my very first pick in that draft league. So for round 5, I ended up getting Manaphy, the captain of the Bronze Beartics, my old original team. Manaphy seemed pretty cool, a Pokemon that's incredibly hard to take down as it was back in the past, a threatening sweeper of both Tail Glow and Calm Mind, but it also packs cool support moves like Icy Wind and Haze. And of course, Terra will make Manaphy even tougher to break through. Speaking of Terra, I feel like it's important to note that every Pokemon can terrestrialize in this league. just like in VGC. But to help keep that essence of draft, we made it so that at team preview, you must tell your opponent all 6 of your Terras. But other than that, it's still closed team sheet, 4v4 battles. My 6th pick might be the Pokemon I'm most excited about in this league, and the main reason I wanted Bronzong. Currently, my team was lacking a strong Trick Room sweeper, and I had 2 of the best Trick Roomers in the game. So for my 6th pick, I got Mudsdale. Mudsdale has base 125 attack, so those earthquakes and rock slides are gonna hurt. And with stamina raising my defense every time I'm attacked, it's gonna get harder and harder to take down the more the game draws out. My good friend Tony Flygun, who was helping me draft and who will be helping me throughout the season, described Mudsdale as a pseudo-legendary, which obviously made me laugh, but also got me so hyped to use this mod. My next pick might seem a little weird as well, but I feel like the logic is there. Currently, the team kind of struggles with bulky waters, and I wanted another Pokemon next to Mudsdale that could use the Trick Room well. I also have a lot of history with this Pokemon. Well, not necessarily this Pokemon, but its family members. I've used both Appleton and Flapple to success in previous draft leagues, and I really wanted to give Hydrapple a try. It's a slow Pokemon that's really strong in the Trick Room, but it also resists Earthquake, so even if I'm Choice Band Mudsdale, I can bring it in next to it and take no damage, meaning I can have an offensive Pokemon attacking while my Mudsdale's attacking as well and Trick Room's up. I also think it's hilarious that if my Fickle Beam feels like it 30% of the time, I'll do double the damage and become this nuke and knock out my opponent, and I really want to do that. Hydrapple also has great support moves like Yawn, putting my opponent to sleep where there is no sleep clause, and its other signature move, Syrup Bomb, does damage while also lowering the opponent's speed by 1 stage for 3 turns, which sounded very helpful for making sure Manaphy and Annihilate outspeed other Pokemon. I talked about earlier how losing Weavile meant I had more points for Pokemon like Manaphy, and that was true. This is because while Weavile was 12 points, its little bro Sneasel was only 6. While Sneasel might be slower and weaker than Weavile, it does have something over it. Its ability Inner Focus means it can't be intimidated and it cannot be flinched, meaning for the most part it's going to be attacking with maximum power, and I can use things like Fake Out to make my opponent flinch. And of course, Sneasel provides me with Beat Up to boost my Mudsdale's stamina and my Annihilape's Rage Fist. At this point, I only have 5 points left, and there's still 2 Pokemon I want, and luckily I can afford both of them. But unfortunately, right before it was my turn, the Pokemon I wanted most this round was Snite. My original plan was to get Chinchino this round. It's a skill-linked Pokemon with multi-hit moves to always hit 5 times its Rock Blast versus Annihilate and Mudsdale, making them incredibly powerful, while also having access to fantastic support moves. It only cost 2 points and I really wanted it, but Tone picked it up. I did have a backup, and even though it was more expensive than Chinchino, it felt less threatening, but does give me Follow Me, as well as a great ability in Frisk, and that's Furret. I know the Killer Nacho is somewhere smiling that I picked up Dustbuster. Furret gives me a Ghost Immune, lets me see my opponent's items due to Frisk that I mentioned earlier, and also has cool support moves like Super Fang. While I think Chinchino would have been better for my team, I'm pretty excited to use this little furball. At this point, I only have 2 points left, and the Pokemon I wanted from the beginning is still there. For my final pick of the draft, I'm picking up Poltergeist. Well, just like its evolution Sinistcha, Poltergeist has the ability Hospitality, meaning when I switch it in, my teammate heals 25% of their HP, which sounds pretty nasty next to Pokemon like Annihilate and Manaphy. Poltergeist also has access to Trick Room, but more importantly Rage Powder, so my opponent has to target it instead of its teammate, and other support moves like Stun Spore. While my draft may not look traditional, I'm very excited to see how these Pokemon do, and I'm hoping to at least grab a win or 2 throughout the season. Week 1 will be uploaded next Sunday the 23rd, and if you missed a draft stream earlier today, check it out on my channel. Make sure you also check out all 20 coaches down below and subscribe and show them support, as we'll be watching them for the next 2 months on my channel. Let me know if you're excited about Season 3 of SPL, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!